Well, Ann Coulter, a best-selling author. Have you got her book, In Trump We Trust? Big New York Times bestseller. And, of course, the best on Twitter. And you should get her column. You go to AnnCoulter.com. You can get everything there. The new column comes out tonight. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you, Mark Simone?
Excellent. Now, Twitter, all of a sudden yesterday, went to 280 characters. The tweets can now be twice as long. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to try to keep it to 140. I can't read the 280 characters. I mean, sometimes it's nice to have a few more characters so you don't have to use as many abbreviations, but I prefer the haiku format, don't you?
Yeah, but if you're a top professional, if you're Ann Coulter, if you're a great writer, if you're President Trump, 280 is good.
No, that many words are going to give me writer's block. That's like writing an essay.
You know, you're right. When it finally went to 280 last night and I wanted to do my first 280, I froze. That's like... Right. You have an excuse for grammatical errors and ridiculous abbreviations when you're forced to make it 140, although 140 was maybe a little short. Maybe I'd take it to 160, but 280 is ridiculous. Yeah. But you know what's ridiculous? Facebook, you got photo albums, you got videos, you got games, you can broadcast live, you can do live TV. Twitter, took them 10 years to figure out how to add one sentence.
Yes, though, I must say I quite prefer Twitter.
That's true. Hey, you were pointing out all day yesterday, it's pretty interesting. Anthony Weiner goes to prison. It gets almost no coverage. If that was a Republican... They would have...
Oh, my gosh. Well, I mean, the pristine example of it was this Todd Aiken, who was, I think he was a representative, but he won a primary to run for Senate out in Missouri, made that legitimate rape comment, and Mitt Romney was asked about it. Every single Republican, if you were running for dog catcher in Alaska, you had to comment on Todd Aiken and his bumbling statement. This Anthony Weiner worked for years and years. He was a close aide of Chuck Schumer's. He took Chuck Schumer's seat in Congress, and he ran for mayor in New York. And as far as I could tell, the New York Times did not mention Monday Anthony Weiner went to prison for federal sex charges. And Schumer was certainly not asked about it, and Democrats running for dog catcher in Alaska were not asked about it.
Even when they interview Huma Abedin, they don't even ask her about it.
Right. No, that's right. That's right. It really, the American left is so much like the old Soviet Union. They're the characters they don't need anymore. They use them, spit them out, and they get whitewashed from the photographs. When's the last time you've heard anyone mention John Edwards?
That's true. So what's going to happen to Donna Brazile? Now she's turned on Hillary. Are they going to throw her out?
Well, I know that Democrats always do this, and we've seen a lot of it with all of these Bush aide hates Trump. But that is to say when someone from the other side goes against their side. But I've always liked Donna Brazile, haven't you? I genuinely have. I can prove it. I was always recommending her to corporate groups that want to debate. They always come up with really moron liberals for me to debate, and I'd tell them, look, I'm giving you someone smarter, funnier, more knowledgeable. This is not for a weak debating partner. I prefer a better debater.
Yeah.
And she was one of the ones at the top of the list I'd be recommending. No, she's surprisingly honest here.
Yeah.
I think she's right. I mean, it's getting to the point that both political parties, I mean, the swamp is real. The elites of both political parties in New York, L.A., San Francisco, they are so disconnected from the actual country that I really feel like the only hope may be a populist party that combines elements, large elements, a majority of both the Republican and the Democratic Party. Because, wow, elected Republicans, sure, and even the guy who was elected to the White House 1 year ago today is not representing America.
Yeah. You know, you're right about this swamp. Everybody, they live in the bubble of Washington, New York, L.A.
Donors.
Well, all these bubble creatures, and they all said to you, "Oh, now he's gone too far. He's taking on Bob Corker. You don't know how respected he is. This is the most hated guy in America by the average person."
Yes. Well, I like seeing one by one the 14 Republicans who voted for Marco Rubio's amnesty collapse. And by the way, you haven't asked me about the Virginia election last night. It's kind of driving me crazy, this commentary on it. I don't know how Republicans get so bamboozled into adopting Democrat talking points on this. And I mean, even Trump, and I suppose he wants to defend his interest. Gillespie was not a Trumpian, but he was smart enough that, like Trump, when he had that come from behind, we weren't even looking at him when he ran against Mark Warner for Senate. That was a total come from behind rise in Virginia. What was that, 2 years ago or 4 years ago? I think it was 4 years ago. In any event, it was because he had defended the Redskins' name. He knows that Americans hate political correctness. They're not insane social justice warriors. And this time, he was way down, and he comes out against these MS-13 gangs that are terrorizing certain communities in Virginia. And suddenly he pulls even with the Democrat. The Democrat desperately had to come out against sanctuary cities in the 11th hour. But the larger point here is Virginia is now a Democratic state, and California gave us Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon. It's a Democratic state. It is unavailable for Republicans ever, henceforth. I mean, I think we might be able to get Virginia back. Yeah. But this is what is about to happen to the entire country. Stop fiddling around with whether this was pro-Trump or anti-Trump. It is because Democrats brought in new voters. And that's what happened.
But also, Ed Gillespie is a Bush guy, RNC head. There's no more swamp creature than Ed Gillespie.
No, that's true, and he did have a primary opponent who was, I guess, considered the true Trumpian. But if you look at the demographics in this race, Gillespie got actually, I mean, probably statistically insignificant, but more of the non-college educated white vote than Donald Trump did in a presidential election. So Gillespie did pretty well with the Trump voters. He was, I mean, I guess he could have been, I don't know, a little more explicit about how, he's rejecting the policies of Haley Barbour and George Bush and does not want mass amnesty. But this is why the Democrats want to give amnesty to 30 million illegal aliens. It will be over. Lights out for Republicans. And Americans keep saying, no, we don't want to change the country just to give the Democrats 30 million new votes. But Republicans won't listen. Today, the 1-year anniversary of the event that would never happen, the election of Donald Trump. Donald Trump's nominee to head the Department of Homeland Security is an open border zealot, is against the wall. This Kristen Nielsen, her name is. And as I just mentioned, I really hate when attractive women are accused of having affairs or using sex to get big jobs. But gosh, other than being really, really pretty, this Kristen Nielsen really is Luis Gutierrez on immigration. What on earth is Trump doing?
Well, you can't be. Listen, there's thousands of jobs. They all can't be great.
This is the head of Homeland Security, and she's against, let's see, Homeland Security.
Oh, well. But, well, it's hard to argue that one. But everybody, will this be part of the column tomorrow?
No, I have a boffo column on a bombshell that came out. I don't think it will be. I mean, I'm so annoyed with the commentary. Maybe I'll rewrite the whole thing. But a bombshell that came out that nobody else noticed.
All right, that's coming out. And if you want to get the column first, go to AnnCoulter.com and sign up there, or follow Ann Coulter on Twitter, or just go to AnnCoulter.com. Also Facebook, Ann Coulter on Facebook. Get her book, In Trump We Trust. Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark Simone. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones right now, Donald Trump.
And it was 52 Tuesdays ago. This is in a way this is the first anniversary. Technically it's tomorrow, but I decided to celebrate the first anniversary today.
We should do it like my birthday and celebrate all month.
Wasn't that a great evening?
But tomorrow is the big day of the event that could never happen.
Yes, it is. The event that would never happen. It was I wrote a column for tomorrow, and they have a new religion now. It took Christianity hundreds of years to take over the Roman Empire. It took Islam over 100 years to take over the Mideast and in North Africa. The Church of Trump derangement syndrome has totally taken over half the country in a year. 1 year, less than a year.
No, and the strange thing about it is, I mean, I've gone out with some not never Trumpers, just liberals who hate Trump.